Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time we're focusing on something that's super relevant to all you technical writers, documentation specialists, and IT folks out there.
Oh, yeah, this one's gonna be good.
It really is. And you know what? It was actually a suggestion from senior technical writer Curt Robbins.
Oh, nice.
He pointed us to this article called A Look at the Past to See the Future of Technical Writing.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, by Bob Watson,
Uh-huh.
published March 18, 2024.
Right, right.
And I think what's really fascinating about this article is how Watson uses, like, history as a lens to look at the possible futures of technical writing,
Yeah.
especially, as AI is emerging more and more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of the big question on everyone's minds these days, right? Like, where does AI fit into all of this?
Exactly, exactly. So Watson actually takes us on this, like, little journey through time. He starts by talking about a 1952 Air Force training manual.
Wow.
Back in the day when print was king, there was no other option.
No internet, no PDFs, just paper.
Exactly. And then he fast forwards a bit to his own experience creating technical manuals in 1981.
Okay.
Hand-drawn diagrams, typewritten text.
The good old days.
I know. And for those of you who might remember, he even mentions Alta Vista,
Oh, wow, Alta Vista.
taking us back to the late 90s when online documentation was just starting to emerge.
That was a game changer for sure.
It really was. And, seeing how far we've come since then, it makes you wonder what the next big shift will be.
Yeah, for real.
But here's the thing. Even with all these changes, Watson argues that the need to explain things clearly hasn't gone away. Like, at its core, that fundamental skill is still essential.
It's true. The technology might change, but the need for clear communication is timeless.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. Because we're not just looking at the past, we're trying to figure out what these historical trends tell us about the future of technical writing.
Right, exactly. Like, what can we learn from the past to help us navigate what's coming next, especially with this whole AI thing looming on the horizon?
Yeah, and what skills are going to be most important for technical writers going forward? What do you think is like the one skill that will be absolutely crucial in the AI era?
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. I think the ability to adapt quickly to new tools and information will be paramount.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because we're already seeing AI change the landscape of so many professions, and technical writing is no exception.
Adaptability. Okay, got it. Now, Watson actually breaks down the evolution of technical writing into three main categories: content, production, and audience.
Makes sense.
So let's start with content. He makes this point that even though what we write about has changed drastically over time, the core principles of clear, concise explanations, they haven't changed that much.
Yeah, that makes sense. The underlying principles of good communication are pretty universal, right?
Exactly. It's like whether you're explaining how a vacuum tube works or how to use the latest AI software, those fundamental principles of clarity, conciseness, and structure, they're still super relevant.
Absolutely. And, I think that has a lot to do with how people learn, whether we're talking about vacuum tubes or artificial intelligence. The way our brains process information hasn't fundamentally changed. So, as a technical writer, that means understanding your audience and adapting your content to how they learn. That's still crucial.
You're totally right. It's like that human element of understanding how people process information that's still so important.
Yeah, no robot can replace that human touch, at least not yet.
Okay, so we talked about content. Now let's move on to production methods, because that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, that's where we see the biggest changes, right?
Exactly. Watson talking about this whole, like, whirlwind of evolution from those early days of typesetting to word processors to CDs to online platforms.
Oh, yeah, and let's not forget about all the different authoring and publishing systems we've had to learn over the years.
I know, right? He even mentions how he was constantly having to learn new systems throughout his career. Like, imagine that.
It's crazy to think how much things have changed and how quickly. And with AI coming into the picture, who knows what's next?
It's true, and that's why that whole idea of adaptability you mentioned earlier, that's probably more important now than ever.
Definitely. Technical writers have always been on the forefront of adapting to new technologies. But things are changing even faster now, and we need to be prepared to keep learning and evolving.
Absolutely. But here's the interesting thing. Watson actually suggests that writing for AI itself, like specifically writing content for AI to use, that could become a standard part of the job in the future.
Whoa, that's wild. You mean like writing instructions for AI algorithms?
Yeah, exactly. Just like writing for the web became a thing, writing for AI could be the next big shift.
That's a fascinating thought. It really makes you wonder what the future holds.
It really does. But even with all these changes in production, there's one thing that remains constant: the audience.
You're right, the human element is still there. As long as humans are the ones reading and using technical documentation, we need to make sure it's clear and understandable for them.
Exactly. No matter how much technology advances, we're still focused on helping people understand things. Okay, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room, right? We've got to talk about AI. Where does it fit into all of this?
Ah, yes, the big AI question. It's the question on everyone's mind. Watson actually dives into its potential in the article. He points out that while the cost of AI is a major barrier right now, it could eventually automate certain aspects of technical writing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he specifically mentions API documentation as an area where AI could really make a difference. Imagine being able to generate all that documentation automatically.
That would be amazing. But, Watson make this really important point. Even if AI can generate content, we'll still need that human touch to make sure it's actually good, to ensure the quality, clarity, and accuracy. What do you think about that?
I think he's absolutely right. AI can be a powerful tool, but it's not a magic bullet. I actually recently experimented with an AI tool for API documentation, and while it was impressive for basic tasks, it couldn't quite grasp the nuances of our specific user base.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we still needed a human writer to refine the output and make sure it truly met our users' needs.
It's fascinating how Watson connects all of this back to that 1952 Air Force manual, explaining vacuum tube amplifiers, a technology that seems ancient now. But the way that manual broke down complex concepts, using visuals, clear language, step-by-step instructions, it's still relevant to how we approach technical writing today.
It really speaks to the enduring power of clear communication. Those fundamental principles, logic, clarity, visual aids, they transcend time and technology. And that's actually really encouraging for technical writers.
It is. It means that even as technology continues to evolve at a breakneck pace, the core skills we've honed as technical writers will still be valuable. What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I would say embrace the future, but don't forget the fundamentals. Stay curious, keep learning, and remember that your ability to clearly explain complex topics is a superpower in this ever-changing technological landscape.
Beautifully put. And to that point, Watson ends his article with this thought-provoking question. He asks if that balance between just enough engineering and just enough documentation will change in the future, especially with the rise of AI. What are your thoughts on that? Will AI tip the scales? Will we need even less documentation? Or will the complexity of technology demand even more from us as technical writers?
That's a question worth pondering. AI could certainly streamline the creation of documentation, but as technology gets more complex, the need to explain it clearly and effectively might become even more important.
It's a fascinating dilemma, and one that I think all of us in the technical writing world are going to be grappling with in the years to come.
Yeah, for sure. It's an exciting time to be a technical writer, that's for sure. We're right at the forefront of this technological revolution, and we have the opportunity to shape how people understand and interact with these new technologies. I think that's pretty awesome.
It really is, and that's what makes Watson's historical perspective so valuable. It reminds us that this isn't the first time our profession has faced major disruption.
Right? Think about those early technical writers who had to adapt from print to the web. That was a huge shift, and yet here we are, still thriving.
Exactly. We've always been adaptable, and that's what will continue to make us essential.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those words flowing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the past, present, and future of technical writing.